Welcome, everyone, and thank you for tuning in today to Performance Uncaged. I'm your host, Ethan Hancock. Now, I want to ask you, why do you wake up when you do? Are you dragging yourself out of bed at 5 a.m. because someone else said to do that? Or do you wake up to the random alarm you set the night before? Well, today I want to talk about your sleep schedule and how to own the day from start to finish. I'm sure that if you have ever looked up self-improvement, Google has thrown loads of articles at you on waking up earlier. And the one number that is always very consistent is 5 a.m. But this is just not for everyone. The same way that showering in the morning suits some people and others not. I mean, it seems super simple that by waking up earlier, your day becomes longer, which should mean that you have more time to get more done. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Because if all of a sudden you are waking up at hours when you're so used to those comfy covers, chances are all you will think about when you wake up is getting back to bed. The way I came about mastering my sleep schedule was really just a good old sit down and talk with myself. I really wanted to work on some of my own projects. I needed to find time to get these projects done. I knew that as a 16-year-old, there's no getting around the third of my day that was devoted to school. And I knew when I get home from school, I'm tired, unfocused, and not very good at getting stuff done. But I thought about how energized I was at the beginning of the day. So I decided to change my sleep schedule so that I would have enough time to get some good sweet spot working time in the early hours of the day. I started out by attempting to just wake up earlier, 5:30 one day, 5 another day, completely random. I soon realized that this was not going to work because I was barely getting enough sleep, and that I was in worse condition now than what I was. So I decided I needed to plan. I set myself a goal of 5:30 every day, forced myself to be in bed, lights off at 9:30, so I would make the cutoff of 8 hours of sleep I had set. After a few rough days of this new schedule, I was able to achieve so much more in my mornings, like this podcast. I mentioned it earlier, but the key for sleeping is finding your own personal sweet spot. The sweet spot. I'm not talking about when you go to sleep and when you wake up, or what time of day you eat candy the most. I'm talking about finding when you are the most productive. The sweet spot is your personal go time, when you're in the zone, super focused, and nothing can distract you from finishing that task at hand. For some, this is 5 a.m. For others, this is 10 at night. For myself, this is 6 a.m. It's built in human nature that we're all different, so this is not a surprise. Finding your sweet spot is hard because, well, there is no one formula that fits all, which means that you're going to have to sit yourself down and now have a nice long talk with your body. I recommend trying your sweet spot. Wait for a vacation or break when you can flexibly wake up and fall asleep without worry of getting to work or finishing the project due on Monday. Now, I want you to take a moment and pause the podcast and think about when you think your sweet spot is. Okay, so I have my sweet spot. What do I do with this? Well, now begins the fun part. You need to plan your sleep schedule around that time while including enough time so you get at least 8 hours of sleep, even if that means going to bed at 8 so you can jump out of bed at 4 a.m. ready to go. With your new sweet spot and sleep schedule in hand, you are now ready to go conquer the world. And, as always, thank you for listening in to Performance Uncaged today. I hope you take this information and use it to make your life better and more productive. Please leave comments or a review on iTunes. I appreciate all feedback y'all send in, and if you learned anything today, please share with a friend so we can all sleep better. Don't forget to follow the podcast on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, as Personal Performance Uncaged.